Hi guys, I hope you guys doing okay. A lot of people are asking me is that Charlie Ward said that nothing's going to happen till Biden is removed and Trump is reinstated. MarkZ said that nothing's happening. There is no movement or whatever it is that they've told me that regarding MarkZ. Now I want to say these guys. As much as I like Charlie Ward is not the owner of the RV. He does not control it. He provides the service, right? Just like I'm doing. Obviously much more than I do, and I take my hat for everything that he's done. MarkZ as well. He's done an incredible job, but he's not the owner. He only goes by what he hears. I only go by what I hear. Now, when I've been on calls actually with paymasters, right? When I've been on calls actually with whales, telling me what's going on and telling me the things are happening, then I can't actually tell them, oh, you're full of BS. I can't tell them that on their face. Okay? These are high whales, whatever you might call it. Right? There are definitely things happening behind the scenes. I got told some people did get paid. Right? That happened actually in I can't tell you. Okay? So I want you guys to remain faithful, because tomorrow, I am sure that tomorrow, with the grace of God, we're going to have some incredible news. All right? That's all I can tell you at the moment, guys. So don't go on because MarkZ said this. Charlie Ward said this and this, right? Guys, you're just intel providers just like I am, right? They're not the owners. They don't control this, all right? All right, take care, guys.
Okay, in terms of news, I don't have much for you guys. I had a big tip on Monday, which I believed then and still believe to be valid. I cannot talk about it. I don't know if I was allowed to tell Jen, but I told Jen, so she kind of knows what I heard. I haven't, I hinted at it on the Telegram channel. The timetable that I was given is still in play. Okay, so the timetable is still in play. So once that timetable is passed, I can probably tell you more about what I know. Jen may get some of it in her readings anyway, that the parts that I didn't tell her. So as it stands now, there should not be anything preventing us moving forward. Nothing from my perspective. And I can't tell you exactly what I heard. I can just tell you there should be nothing preventing us from moving forward. Having said that, one of the things I will tell you that I am looking for, is for the stock markets to hit certain thresholds. When Jen got that in her reading on Monday and announced that, the people who talked to me said, "You fucking told her, didn't you?" And I said, "No, I haven't told her anything yet. I didn't talk to her until in the afternoon when I confirmed that she nailed it." So that is one of the markers that we're looking for. Unfortunately, the stock markets are kind of moving in the wrong direction today. They're dropping. So don't know what's going on with that. But in terms of news, I don't have really much of any news to share with you. So I'm just going to throw all the pressure on your shoulders, Jen, and ask you if you got anything or had a chance to do any readings. I'm kidding, Jen. I'm just teasing.
Well, I do know what's happening. Like I told you guys, is that this is a war going on for perception and for confidence. And as soon as they saw everything going up, and they know that we need certain markers on the stock market, so then they put out and started the whole World War III scenario. And they've been putting more and more information out. And now people are saying, well, we were really confident about Trump getting in, but it looks like we're going into a war. And so now things are dropping. And that's what's happening. So I told you that there's going to be this back and forth war going on. It will eventually not be successful. Okay. Mm-hmm. But that's what we're watching play out right now.
Yeah. A lot of those kinds of dynamics, and from what I kind of surmise, I do not think that the war scenario is really going to put a stop to this. So we shall see.
Well, Phil came out and said a little bit about that last night. I caught some of his live, not all of it. And he was talking about, it's kind of a gentle confirmation that the World War III will be on your screens.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, are you there? Do you really see what's going on? I mean, are you really sure that this is going on? Or is this just information being put out, to influence the public and make them think a certain thing? So let's see how real this gets. I'm sure there are actually things being launched, but Gentel confirmed on those being stopped. Most of those missiles that were launched from Ukraine were blocked in the sky, or stopped in the sky. I guess one got through, hit the ground. Yeah. Now we've got who else has got missiles now? Or the UK. Now England, the UK has given them missiles. Okay. Somebody said on Telegram channel that was a Gentel confirmed. I never said that. That's not Gentel confirmed. I didn't get that. That wasn't me.
Okay. Okay.
But there are a lot of Gentel confirms coming out from the past recently, and we're just keeping an eye on how things are moving.
Yeah.
Best case scenario in the Gentel for this week is that we would get notifications sometime this week. But that's best case scenario. So then they're pulling this war stuff, and so we don't know what's going on.
I do have one report. I will give you this. I have one person who is connected at a reasonably high level who said it's today. Okay, today is not over, which is what I will say to you. So those are the kind of things we're waiting on the information. Jen, I was going to ask you one thing about the Gentel on Monday. We talked about keep an eye on the rupiah, the Indonesian rupiah, and the dong, and look for any movement on those. I don't really think there has been any yet, but is that still in play? Is that still something we should be looking out for the next couple of days?
Well, it's like he didn't give me a timeline. I put in the timeline. What he said is that Jesus said that there will be a significant and immediate change with the Indonesian rupiah and a rise in the Vietnam dong. Possibly tomorrow, I put in, because I felt like it was imminent. This information will leak and show us that rates are rising. So,
right.
I don't know what he thinks the immediate is.
Yeah, that would be good news. That would be good news. Okay, guys, let's see. We got about, we just hit 1,000 over on Rumble. Okay, we got about 12 or 1,300, 1,313 of you in the live stream right now. Jen, I appreciate each and every one of you. We're going to move over to questions now, take a few questions maybe till the top of the hour or whenever Jen decides to let us, to leave us. And then I have to go off and do some banking stuff myself. It is not RV related. But Jen, I was going to ask you, what, angel numbers, 1111, people talk about that. Yesterday, I got 1212. What does 1212 mean? I kind of know what 1111 means, but what does 1212 mean? Do you have any sense of that? Or is this something we should just look up?
Create your reality, everything will be okay. Create your reality, everything will be okay. 1212. To me, that's what that means. So when I see 111, for me, excuse me, it's a sign to, all right, what do you want to create? Be careful of your thoughts. What are you thinking right now? All right, so create something, get your thoughts in order so that everything will be okay. And it's repeated. So that's what I would get from that.
Yeah, I was thinking about the RV and projects and things I was going to work on when it happened. I was getting ready for bed, and I looked down and it's 1212, and I'm like, okay, what does 1212 mean? And so it means stick with it and create your reality. Yeah, that's great.
Question here for Dallas. Dallas, with everything that's going on right now, does this change the timeline or anything regarding the RV?
I said it yesterday. I'm hearing lots of positive thoughts and, and things in regards to today, tomorrow, and Friday. kind of going into this weekend. I mean, the date that I'm looking at is December 10th, because alot, I think that's who it is, the Prime Minister, the President of Iraq, said that it would be finished. The revaluation of their currency in their country would be finished by December 10th. Well, that's 20 days from now. Like, that's not a very long time to complete the transition of their new currency. So I think we're right on track. Trump effectively is already in office. I mean, that said, they're like, well, Biden's got to be out. Well, Biden won't talk to the press. Trump is talking to the press, and Trump's, X thing got changed over. So I think we're right there.
Brother's got a question here. He says, I'm wondering if already sentenced prisoners can be retired by military tribunals while the Constitution is on hold.
Or retried? That's a good question.
Yeah,
that's a very good question. I don't have an answer for that one. I'll have to pick up that one. So y'all feel free to take a stab at that, but that is a very interesting question. I think a lot of things, it's just like what Dallas just said. We don't want them to get in that situation where they're able to put us on holds. Americans cannot afford this right now. And regardless of it's a movie or not, I'll tell you what's not a damn movie. Every time I go, or Jennifer goes to the grocery store and we look at the effing receipt, like here the last couple of days, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's gotten worse. It's gotten worse.
Oh, yeah, absolutely it has.
See, I got questions to see here. Other than Brunson, how will they get Trump back in prior to inauguration? There is something else, isn't there, guys? What was it we were talking about the other day? I was thinking that might be the secret between Johnson and is it because they don't have to have approval? They go right to it and pass everything? I'm assuming that's what they can do.
Well, I mean, they announced yesterday or the day before publicly that Biden and his family have officially been found guilty of taking bribes in the tune of tens of millions of dollars. So they can impeach him tomorrow, remove Kamala, put Speaker Johnson in. You know what I mean? Like there's probably seven or eight different ways that they could get him out of office, or they could just send the military in and arrest their dumbasses and perp walk him right out the White House or wherever sound studio they're on, and then there's 100 ways to get him out. They just got to pick one and do it.
See, I'm doing lightning around here with questions, so I'm just gonna read them off, and you guys are able to answer. It says, let's see here. Someone's asking, why has Mike Penny on Truth Seekers 88 turned against President Trump? Mike kicked me off his show for stating President Trump is Trump's golden age. I have no clue about that. I know Mike Penny's a pretty good dude, so I don't know about that. Does King Charles have to pass to do all the things we needed to happen before we start seeing funds? I'm going to defer to you guys on that one.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think Biden, I think all that's all out the window now. It's just a matter of when they flip the switch.
I mean, lately I've been getting videos sent to me from people that I would have least expected, sending me videos about the Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong. And so a lot more people are paying attention. And the kind of stuff that I'm getting is these are basically reports where you're talking about these countries who have trade surpluses. They have incredibly funded treasuries to the point where they can actually buy back all their currency and still have money in the bank. They are in phenomenal shape, but these are all steps that are always historically have been leading up to revaluation. And I think the other day MarkZ was talking about taking into a correct kind of formula of inflation and just kind of backtracking to current situations that the dinar could very well be in the 2.25 range on the low end. And so, of course, it was about what 380, 381 when it got taken out. So there's a lot of conversations that I'm hearing that people are reporting that people are paying attention and listening to what's happening over there, because there's some really, really, really good signs that are really spelling out for revaluation.
Here's another question coming in right now. Ann Brown on Patriot Party News live chat is saying, Chaz, there's rumors that President Trump will be shot on November 22nd, the same day as JFK. What do you think? Well, I think symbolism is a bitch, and I pray for, like, that's what we've been praying for. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little tense him going out there to SpaceX to the launch and stuff, because I was like, man, that's all we need is something crazy to happen like that, especially when we're in transition. And a lot of people even saying that was Trump's body double that was out there, because I agree, it didn't really look like him. It was kind of an off version a little bit, but maybe I'm wrong with that. But I wasn't the only one. There was a ton of people that were saying that. Yeah. Angela's saying the same thing. It did not look like him. So
I don't think there's a chance that they expose him to that level. I mean, I think it would be more apropos for the Brunson case to overturn the election on the 22nd than for them to shoot at Trump again on the 22nd.
So have you heard that? Is that being talked about with Brunson on the 22nd? That's what
the Supreme Court, they are making or releasing some decisions on the 22nd. I don't know which ones, but that was announced, last week?
Comments on the Chosen One's Telegram, 21st November. Forwarded from AD, Ed of Ocala states that Hungry Pingo will be in first basket and will be treated as currency rather than bond. From Bish Bosh. This is an old post from Steve Booch about the Pingo. He has great knowledge on many things currency. Steve Booch. We're not expecting anything but Zim to have humanitarian projects. Historic bonds are historic bonds. If Pingo accepted as bonds, they will go at the exchange. If they are considered currency, then they will be SKR, safekeeping receipt, and convert with Hungary in whichever list they will be on. In my opinion, they could be considered currency if they go with Hungary in the RV. If they are considered bonds, then they could be redeemed at any time or with the Hungary RV. My suggestion is that the 1946 notes be chosen before the 1933 to 1945 notes, specifically the Milio B variety. This, the Milliard Mil Pingo, billion million, instead of Milliard B, its value is 1 quadrillion Pingo. Well, they became bonds when they went out of circulation after a period of time. Forwarded from Sierra Sunshine. I noticed your question was overlooked. Steve Booch is the expert on the Pingo and Bolivar. He has studied them in depth. They were both currencies that were produced during highly inflationary periods like the Zim, Dong, and Dinar. He believes they are sleepers. The price for these currencies is still relatively low. There is risk involved because we don't have any idea what rate they may be exchanged for, Bolivar, or possibly redeemed, Pingo. Of the two, Pingo is harder to find, and prices are rising, but it has a higher risk and a potential higher reward. It may be redeemed as a bond in this first round, but if they decide it's a currency, Hungarian currencies are not in the first basket or batch of currencies being redeemed, there is a chance they will accept it and give you a safekeeping receipt for when it is redeemed later on, but there is also a chance it will not be redeemed or exchanged. I think it's also a chance it will not be redeemed or exchanged. My personal opinion is that the risk is small and the potential gain is worth the risk. The Bolivar is easier to find and there's less uncertainty about it. But if you're okay with some risk, it could be an excellent option for you for a minimal cost. Hopefully Steve or Ed will step in and correct or clarify this if I've gotten anything wrong. From Steve Booch. Bolivar is a currency that is currently in hyperinflated state in Venezuela. The Bolivar value is 3,383,172 per USD at the moment, and the notes are as high as 100 trillion in size, 1 million bolivar. Like the ZIM, it could be 1 cent per million, which could be 1 million per trillion bolivar, or could be higher or lower, we're unsure. But it will exchange as any other currencies like dong, dinar, etc. The pengo is either a currency or a historic bond. It was produced in 1946, when Hungary reached the highest hyperinflation ever in recorded history. If they consider the pengo note as a historic bond, it's printed on bond paper. It can redeem at any time. If it's considered a currency, it would probably go with Hungarian currency or currency of the EU. The forint is the currency in use in Hungary today, but the Magyar Nemzeti Bank is still producing the forint today, as it did the pengo in 1946. If the forint exchange, then the pengo should because the bank is still producing Hungarian currency and is responsible for the present as well as the past, in my opinion. By the way, you can find 100,000 Miliobi pengo notes for $25. That's 100 trillion, if you need to know the value. The Bolivar Soberanas 2019 to 2020 are 10,000 mil to 1 million Bolivar, 1 trillion to 100 trillion value. You can pick up a set of 2020 valued at 170 trillion Bolivar for about $25 also on eBay and elsewhere. It's 250 option, but one is questionable of the rate it will get. The other is still unknown. We're hoping that they redeem the pengo, but we're not sure at this time. This came from deleted account. MarkZ, we never asked about the Bolivar or pengo, says ask Steve Booch, who's the expert on them. So if Steve says pengo is printed on bond paper, it must be true.
All right, let's get to it. Rupiah, I continue to hear $1.47, Carol. Haven't heard anything different. Al Sudani, wait, don't want to have to hear it later. Al Sudani continuously directs the payments of wages to workers with a daily wage during the 2 days of the ban. In other words, today and tomorrow during the census, they're going to pay people to stay home. There was much concern that the whole nation was going to go to broke after missing 2 days of work. Just doing the right thing by the people, kind of like when you get stuck with jury duty. Rest of the news out of Iraq, we've got one with al-Awadi. Iraq will demand the issuance of a resolution under the 7th item to cease fire immediately. The pressure is becoming louder and louder from around the world for a ceasefire. The only nation so far voting against it has been the U.S. All other countries on this one on the Security Council have voted for a ceasefire. What good, that news? Kind of a waste. KMK, I don't know what to tell you. Pango News is still silent from my end. Yellow Dragon still silent on my end. Kevin, I just got my $10 for jury duty. You're retiring early. I'm going to leave the news banner off just because it's getting in my way. We did this one. We did that one. All right, now let's move over here. A terrible 20-year auction has second biggest tail. Lowest directs on record. U.S. Treasury selling off a bunch of our 20-year. Well, it was a disaster. Nobody wanted it. They had to keep going up and up and up to get anybody willing to buy it. There's a concerted effort, I swear, to tank the world, our economy, put us in World War III before Trump takes over. I've never seen an administration, and it's not even necessarily administration, it's around the world. There are other countries. We're going to talk about it a good bit this evening. Well, not a real long time because I'm going to try to keep it short so I can get ready for Whiskey and Wisdom. Other nations as well pushing. It is a global effort by the globalists to put us in a position where we can't get out. They're desperate. We're going to talk about that one, and it's a scary, scary period. I was told forever that it would look just like this right before the reset, and it looks just like they told me it would, like we're in the beginnings of a war and a meltdown. Meanwhile, we all have hope because we got a new president-elect.
This is a post by Ariel on X. This was forwarded to the Chosen Ones Telegram. You all need to understand the financial implications of this inflation rate. This is not conjecture or some wild offbeat theory. Iraq literally cannot afford to come out below 10 because the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, has implemented measures to stabilize the currency. So he was replying to Majeed. That's on the next page. $3.22 in 1980 is equivalent in purchasing power to about $12.34 today, an increase of $9.12 over 44 years. The dollar had an average inflation rate of 3.10% per year between 1980 and today, producing a cumulative price increase of 283.09%. This means that today's prices are 3.83 times as high as average prices since 1980, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Price Index. A dollar today only buys 26.094% of what it could buy back then. The inflation rate in 1980 was 13.50%. The current inflation rate compared to the end of last year is now 2.60%. If this number holds, $3.22 today will be equivalent in buying power to $3.30 next year. The current inflation rate page gives more detail on the latest inflation rates.
Ask you about the T's of Intel this week.
Oh no, it's not. It's still on for. It's still, the window is still open on that. I got told something on Monday that was pretty explosive, but I was told you can't say it because if you say it, then people will know who leaked it, and my guy will never talk to me again. So, but it hasn't happened yet. So, but I was told Wednesday was what they were aiming for. If not Wednesday, then Thursday. So we still have a little bit of a window.
If it makes you feel any better, I'm getting a lot of that too. We'll see what pans out because it's real mixed. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
It is definitely bipolar, like Carolina's weather in the fall.
Yeah. So I'm just getting, somebody asked me today on the show with Jennifer Falad Doring, by the way, what's your certainty? Where would you say we are? And I said 99.99999% is where we are. We're just waiting for them to stop making excuses and pull the trigger on something. So that's where we're at. It's just very frustrating.